What are you doing in my car?
Waiting for you.
Get yourself killed that way.
Or the reverse. Get out. Over there. Excuse 36,000.
Excuse me.
Per unit, of course. Something you want?
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt like this and barge in, but I'm looking for Mrs. Williamson.
I'm Mrs. Williamson.
Mrs. Bo Williamson?
That's right.
And who might you be?
Lieutenant Columbo. You called the police?
I did?
Well, that's what they told me.
Lieutenant, I may not be the brightest lady in the world, but I do know whether I made a phone call or not.
Obviously, some kind of mix-up.
Well, I'd like to get this thing straightened out. Can anybody tell me where Mr. Williamson is?
I don't know.
You mean he's missing?
Well, to be absent, not necessarily to be missing, Lieutenant. I assume you understand the distinction.
It's just that he's out of town on business. And really, Lieutenant, I didn't call the police.
Well, this is very, very weird because they told me that they got a call from a Mrs. Williamson. And she said that her husband was missing and he might even be dead.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Wait a minute. Goldie.
Who's Goldie?
My husband's first wife. She must have called you.
He's dead, I tell you. I can feel it in my spine. A little lower, honey. Ouch, that's it. I know more about Bo Williamson than that little lady'll learn in a lifetime.
Yeah, but
Lover, take my word for it. He has shuffled off this veil of tears.
Well, how do you know that?
Because he always calls me before he leaves town, and this time he didn't.
Yeah, but if he didn't call you, how do you know he left town?
I spoke with the child bride.
You mean Mrs. Williamson?
The current Mrs. Williamson. I call her the next ex. Oh, don't get me wrong, lover. She's half my age and twice as pretty, but I like her. Lieutenant, we were married for 22 years. We never had any children, so we spent a lot of time getting to know one another. Jennifer gives him youth. For the rest, he comes to me. Now, even if he leaves town for just a few days, he always lets me know, every time. Yeah? It's for you.
Oh. Thank you very much. Hello? Yes? Oh. All right, I'll be right down. Thank you. They found Bo Williamson's car.
You see, what did I tell you?
At the airport. Now, I'm gonna go down and check it out, but it really looks like he left town.
what's the funny thing about that car? Car's got a tape machine in it, and the glove compartment is full of cassettes. Every one of them is country and western music. That's all. And his wife tells me this man doesn't listen to anything else.
Nothing unusual about that?
No, except the radio dial was set at 52. Classical station. Turned it on, classical music.
I see.
You want a half a candy bar?
No.
Anyway, it seems that whoever was driving that car must have been listening to classical music. It's confusing.
I'm sure you'll find an answer, Lieutenant.
I'm certainly going to try. Anyway, thanks for your time.
The lieutenant was looking for you, Mr. Markham.
I'm sure he was. I see you have our building records.
Yes, sir, but he wanted to take a look.
Well, listen, I didn't think you'd mind.
No, of course not. I would want to dampen your new interest in architecture. There it is.
Guess what?
File D3.
What do you mean?
Let's dig it up.
What?
Oh, now, come on. You know you want to.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's such a marvelous place to hide a body. The crew comes in, digs a hole sits there overnight. If I were a murderer, hypothetically speaking, of course, it'd be made to order. Just drive up, dump the body. The next morning, crew comes in, fills the hole with concrete. Neat, clean, foolproof.
Well, now, wait a minute. If you were a murderer, hypothetically, like you said, you're not going to tell this to the police.
Well, why not? You'll never be able to dig it up. Besides, how do you know I'm not a victim of my own bravado?
Okay, fellas, let's forget it, huh? Nothing here, Mr. Markham. Not even a button.
License and registration, please. That was real nice, sir.
What?
That was a real nice piece of driving you did back there. The way you handled it, the way you pulled it over.
Oh, thank you.
Left front. Could have been hairy.
Yeah, that could have been. That's, well, there's no real harm done. Thank you for stopping. I appreciate that.
Open up.
What?
The trunk. You might as well get your keys and I'll help you out with the spare.
Ridiculous.
What?
My spare. No air. It's useless. I've been meaning to get it filled, but, well, you know how that is.
Well, why don't I call a tow truck? They'll bring out a pump.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Good night now.
Markham? Bo Williamson?
Headed me all the way, weren't you?
Well, I kind of had a hunch. You see, you kept trying to finesse me into digging up that pile. And I had to ask myself why. I mean, you're not a dumb man, Mr. Markham. You wouldn't lead me right to the body.
Why'd you dig it up?
Well, I had to play along, didn't I? You see, I figured you had the body somewhere. But what you really wanted was a foolproof hiding place. Now, what's better than a place that's already been searched? And at considerable cost and my embarrassment. Officer?
No, don't bother. He will admit. It's a clever idea.
Oh, yeah, it was perfect. Who would look in the same place twice?
Should have left it where it was.
Mr. Markham, curious about that. Where was it?
It's in the equipment shed of his stable.
Oh, you never can be sure about those things. You know, bodies have a funny way of surfacing. No, this was brilliant. Eventually, you would have had a whole building over the grave.
Yes, brilliant.
It was just that music thing that bothered me. Carnegie Hall and Nashville. They don't mix.
No, they don't.
Just one more thing.